It's that time. We are going to talk about Miss Kamala Harris and her rally she had this weekend here in Atlanta, Georgia. And my question today is she taking advantage of people? People of a specific gender, of a specific race. And I say that because at the rally she had in Atlanta on Saturday, she really set the tone when it came down to reaching out to specifically blacks, to specifically women, to specifically small business owners, to specifically people who have a child for the first time. Because in her plan, she actually wants to reach out to people. Case in point, in her new plan, she said that if you have your first child, you will receive a $6,000 tax credit. That's what she said. But in her rally that she had, this is what got me about the whole thing. In her rally, hello, Jim. Yeah, hello, Jim. Yes, I'm back on stakeout mode. Jim, did you hear about the rally that Kamala Harris had in Georgia? She had it here in Georgia on Saturday. She had it here in Georgia. I'm just going to show one thing that really got me about her rally. I'm going to actually show it because this is just this disgusting. It is pure disgusting. In the middle of, oh, you have it? Oh, we gonna have a little talk. Just a quick little talk about that. I'm just gonna show a clip. She blamed Trump again. She blamed Donald Trump again at her rally here in Georgia. And I'm gonna show one specific clip that really got me with her. And I want everybody to actually understand what happens when you blame people and you don't hold yourself accountable for your actions, especially Kamala Harris. She blames Donald Trump for everything that she and her administration, Joe Biden's administration, does. So this is what she said yesterday, Saturday. This is what she actually stated. And I'm gonna actually show it.
And we care about things like dignity. We understand that well, I hear you, but the thing, what, the court's going to take care of that. We're going to take care of November.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Was that a threat? Was that a threat? I want to play that again. I think that was a threat.
And we care about things like dignity. We understand that well, I hear you, but the thing, what, the court's going to take care of that. We're going to take care of November.
Whoa! 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 Now, hello, you guys. Now, that clip that I just showed you, that is a rally that Kamala Harris had in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday here in America. And with that particular clip, she basically, you could hear somebody in the audience, they were saying Donald Trump needs to be locked up. Lock him up. Daniel, hello John, hello Sonny. Daniel says, anyone else wondering where Kamala's southern accent? I'm trying to see too, Daniel. it seems like that's the conversation I'm really trying to understand, because it seems like she tries to take advantage of a certain gender, a certain race, and it seems like any particular audience that she puts herself in, she tends to try to put herself like, oh well, I'm gonna talk this way. And it's like, even at this rally, you could hear she comes with an accent. I didn't even notice it until you brought it up, Daniel. Hello, you guys. This is Politic Graham. I want to just ask: does Kamala Harris, is she playing political games herself? Because at this rally that she had, she brought Usher. She brought the singer Usher at the rally. She's opposing. Yes, I mean, my whole thing is, why play on people's intelligence? And I really feel she used in one portion of her rally, she spoke about women not having the rights to delete babies. I'll say it that way. I can't say the A word. I'm gonna just say delete babies, because in Georgia there is a ban. Once there is an embryo that has a heartbeat, you cannot delete the baby. Now, at this particular rally, she brought Amber Thurman's family, and she actually put them in a whole commercial speaking about deleting a baby. I'll just say it that way. And she blamed Donald Trump for that. But I want people to realize, you had George W. Bush appoint a Supreme Court justice. You had him. He appointed a Republican Supreme Court justice. Hello, Sarah. Sarah says, if you were a ruler of your own country, what would you be? The first law you would enforce? Me? Are you asking me that question, Sarah? Hello, Saj. Saj says, Kamala the chameleon, literally the most cringe person is the world in the world. Okay, Sarah. Okay, you said, if you were a ruler of your own country, what would be the first law you would enforce? The first law that I would enforce is, now this is just me, because I don't know about you guys, I'm not for legalizing marijuana nationwide. That's one thing Kamala Harris, she wants to do. She wants to legalize marijuana. Me personally, I don't want to. Oh, John said freedom of speech. That's definitely one. We could say that one. Freedom of speech would be one, definitely. That would be the first law, because people tend to, we have that in the amendments. However, it seems as if we are not being given that freedom to speak our piece. And even when it comes down to the law of deleting a baby, I feel that everybody should have accountability for themselves, right? So when you lay down, you make that choice. But you don't make that choice. You don't make that choice for a baby just because you feel like you're not ready to raise a child. You made that choice when you laid down. You made that choice. Now with Kamala Harris, with her, like I said, John said, be responsible for your, exactly. Please be responsible. Because at this particular point in time, it seems like Kamala Harris is insinuating that she's just going to make all your troubles go away. She's going to make all your troubles go away. She's going to legalize marijuana so you don't have to worry about getting arrested or somebody saying you're a nuisance. She's going to make sure you'll be able to delete a baby just in case you don't feel like you can deal with responsibility. So at this particular rally Saturday, I did not like when she used Amber Thurman. Amber Thurman is the one. She's one of the I'm gonna say, quote unquote, they say a victim to this law, to this Roe versus Wade that was reversed. Okay, she's a quote unquote victim here in Georgia. Basically, with Amber Thurman, what happened with her? Because here in Georgia, once there is an embryo in you cannot be able to have a quote unquote delete a baby. I just have to say the letter A. You cannot be able to do that. Now, Amber Thurman, what she did, she was at the 7-week mark. I'm going to show you Amber Thurman. She was at the 7-week mark. Because she was at the 7-week mark, she literally with her friend drove to North Carolina to get medication to delete her baby. She got the medication. She drove back to Georgia. And she ended up getting ill. She went to a hospital here in Georgia. However, when she went to the hospital, they gave her the same answer that was given to her prior to her going to North Carolina. The Saj says, "Thank you. You are informed." Oh my, what a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. And that's why I want people to kind of wake up and open their eyes. Don't believe this, what Kamala Harris is trying to tell you. You have to do your own research. Now, for me, I looked up Amber Thurman. Amber Thurman, like I said, when she was told from doctors here that they would not perform the surgery for her to delete the baby, that's when she drove to North Carolina. She retrieved medication in North Carolina to delete her baby. She drove back. That's when she had an issue from the medication. She had complication. And then that's when she went back to a hospital here in Georgia. The doctors, they did not know what to do. It took let me make sure I read it right. It took about 13 hours for them to make a decision. For them to actually make a decision whether or not they were going to help Miss Thurman. By the time they realized that because this is an emergency, by the time they realized it was basically too late. They did do a procedure. However, with Miss Thurman, she ended up getting septic shock. And because of that, she ended up passing away. Fast forward. It was determined that had the doctors at this specific hospital would have did it earlier, would have performed a procedure known as DNC to remove, I want to make sure I say it right, to remove the infection in her body. Like I stated, they waited, let me correct myself, instead of 13 hours, it was 19 hours later. They waited. And that's how Miss Thurman ended up losing her life. Now, I'm going to show Miss Kamala Harris at the rally that she had yesterday. I did not like how she used and how her family, Amber Thurman's family, now they're going around. They're going around doing, first, now they have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against this hospital. I'm not going to put the hospital name out there. It's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Now, in addition to that lawsuit, guess who else has came in? Now it's Kamala Harris. Now it's Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey called herself last month, did a live stream online special with Kamala Harris. And in this special, they invited Amber Thurman's mother and 2 sisters to talk about what happened with Miss Thurman. Now, guess what? A month later now, at the rally that was yesterday, Kamala Harris, she shows an actual commercial that they made, that they did for for in regards to Amber Thurman. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is what you call political gain. That is what you call using someone for your personal gain. And when I say that, because why didn't Kamala Harris do this for the victims? For the victims in regards to the border security. Why didn't she do the same, treat them the same? The people that ended up passing away by illegal immigrants. Why didn't she do this for Jocelyn, who was 12 years old? 12 years old. They found her in a creek in Houston, Texas, with her pants missing. Why didn't Kamala Harris apologize for allowing so many illegal immigrants to cross over? But it's so odd. It is so odd. She caters to Amber Thurman's family. She caters to Amber Thurman. I need for Miss Harris to let and her family to let Miss Amber Thurman rest in peace. Rest in peace. Now I just want, it was a lot that really just threw me off with Kamala Harris rally yesterday. It really just threw me all the way off. I'm going to show you Amber Thurman's mother and her sister, her family. And this is the commercial that Kamala Harris, partial of the commercial. I can't show all, but this is just to show you how Kamala Harris moves. And it is disgusting. I'm going to show it. Let me see. Hold on, you guys. This is just horrible.
Is gone because of what Donald Trump did.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
It's nothing good enough to bring her back. Her life is over. I've never been a political person. Never. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she showed me she really cared. I felt her sincerity, and I felt her strength. We will speak her name, Amber Nicole Thurman. I felt her compassion. We will
Now, I'm trying to understand. I'm going to play this one more time. Let me play. Hold on. Let me play. Let me get it. Hold on.
Daughter is gone because of what Donald Trump did.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
It's nothing good enough to bring her back. Her life is over. I've never been a political person. Never. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she showed me she really cared. I felt her sincerity, and I felt her strength. We will speak her name, Amber Nicole Thurman. I felt her compassion. We will.
Now, I'm going to show what Jocelyn Nangari's mother stated, because she wants to feel some type of compassion from Biden's administration, as well as Kamala Harris. She wants to feel some type of compassion as well. Now, this is Jocelyn, the 12-year-old who was found in a creek in Houston, Texas, due to 2 illegal immigrant men, okay, that deleted her. Not only deleted her, but before they deleted her, they had intentions of doing other things to her. I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, this is her mother. She's still waiting on a response from Kamala Harris.
Biden Harris administration open border policies catch and release. They were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nangare's life.
Now, I'm going to replay it one more time.
Administration open border policies catch and release. They were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States. It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life.
Now, that is what I don't understand. I don't understand how, and John, you are absolutely right, John. They are being paid. And yes, the sage of 6 pounds, that's awful. That is disgusting. Why? Because you have so many people that have been victims. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that's an illegal immigrant is horrible. No, I'm not saying that. But I wish that Kamala Harris would put that same energy with these other families. But instead, Saj says, at her event, somebody said Christ is Lord. And Kamala said Christians were at the wrong rally on Saturday. I was shocked that she would say that when trying to win an election. You know what? I'm glad you said that. I am glad you brought that up, because I didn't appreciate how in the rally she stated that God has nothing to do with this Roe versus Wade, and women having some, rights. But what about the babies? What happened to pro-life? What happened to that? And Saj, I was trying to actually find, because I did save a clip where she actually stated, give me one. I'm glad you brought it up. Look, I got the clips, not that clip, but I got a clip in regards to where she spoke on religion at a rally, talking about deleting a baby. Now you're putting religion and deleting a baby in the same sentence. That's beyond me. But we're gonna look, I promise you, I saved the clip. Now, this particular woman that I'm talking about, Amber Thurman, she actually, Mrs. I says, I'm trying to listen because I like what you're saying, but you're yelling. Why? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, I will say this. And Mrs. Eyes, I apologize. I just get hello, Hassan. Hello. Thank you for coming back, Hassan. Hello. You say you are fine. Saj says you are fine. I love the passion. And Mrs. I says, I understand. You guys, and this is why Jim, I don't know if Jim's still in there, but Jim would always tell me every time I do a live, he says I need to take a stiff drink after I do my lives because I am so passionate. Daniel Lopez says the fact she doesn't have any biological. Ooh, Daniel says, Daniel says the fact she doesn't have any biological children herself doesn't make more sense why she could care less about yours. Oh my God. Daniel, let me pin this. Oh my goodness. Now, Saj, I had a clip where she spoke about, I'm going to try to find it because I'm glad you had brought that up about what she said about Christ. I'm trying to get it. Let me get it, you guys. Mrs. I says passion is a good thing. You also have wisdom. Thank you so much. I mean, I was so disappointed in the rally yesterday. And I want to throw this out there. I want to make sure I throw this out there. I actually tried to go to the rally. But you know what happened, you guys? I cannot make this up. Friday, I was looking to see the location of the rally. They still did not state the location of the rally. Saturday, the day the rally is supposed to be, I look it up. They say the event is at capacity. And they still didn't give a location of the rally. And then to top it all off, I'm looking at who all came for it to be at capacity. It must be those Kamala Harris people. Because I'm like, is everybody getting paid? Is everybody getting paid? That's what I think. Yes, Saj. You said they bust in. It has to be. They have to be busing these people in. And I was trying to actually find where Kamala Harris, she mentioned, and it just was really sickening to me.
Some only being treated once they develop sepsis.
I'm trying to see if I can find it.
Only being treated once they develop sepsis, and tragically, because of their crisis. This is not something theoretical. This is not just about a political conversation. It's very real. And Donald Trump is the architect. Women are being denied care during miscarriages. Some only being treated once they develop sepsis. And tragically, because of these bans, some women have even...
Now, I was trying to actually find it. Give me one moment, you guys, because with that particular clip, that's the clip she eased in just before she showed Amber Thurman's commercial. The commercial in this. John said, I have to get to sleep. Good night to everyone. Stay awake and not woke. Thank you, John. Thank you for coming in. Yes, stay awake and not woke. Yes. I mean, at this particular point, I don't understand what Kamala Harris has going on. I really don't. Exactly. Good night, John. Thank you so much for coming in. I was trying to actually find the video. It was a clip that I had saved because she did mention that, Sage, about religion. Yes, she did. I was trying to find it. One moment. Give me one moment. Mrs. I says she's got delusion going on. Yes. You know what, though, Mrs. Eyes? I really personally think Kamala Harris, she knows what she's doing. She just thinks she can feed other people anything. Because I think, you know why I think she knows what she's doing? Because ask yourself this question. Why is she mentioning and paying allegedly, because I don't want to be sued by Amber Thurman's family, because they already have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit here in Georgia against a hospital that deleted their relative Amber Thurman. So I'm not trying to get sued, but I will say this: it's really kind of odd that with Kamala Harris, she picks and chooses. She picks and chooses individuals that she will actually have a conversation with, that she will actually sit down, hold hands, and kumbaya with. She knows what she's doing. But guess what? She won't talk to you, Mrs. Eyes. She won't talk to you, the Sage. She definitely won't talk to John or Jim. She won't talk to Politic Graham. Why? Because we know the truth. We know the truth. We can see straight through that irritating laugh. We can see straight through it. And I'm so tired of people, specifically women, specifically black people, not understanding someone such as Kamala is playing political game. And her political game, it is affecting people's lives. Seriously. It is affecting people's lives. Just like when Joe Biden, and they don't want to mention this part, but I have video. Joe Biden appointed her to be one of the people over the border security. He appointed her that role. And look what has happened. She couldn't even do an interview and say how many millions and millions of illegal immigrants have crossed over. But according to what was stated in the Fox interview by Mr. Brent Beer, okay, when he interviewed her, over 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed over since the Biden administration they dropped 90 executive acts that was given by Donald Trump. They rescinded 90 executive acts. But Kamala, she couldn't even answer how many people have crossed over. She couldn't even answer to the victim families that would have been affected by some of these illegal immigrants. That's why I say Mrs. I, she knows. She thinks we're delusional. She thinks that everybody here in America are delusional. She thinks that she's going to become president the same way she became district attorney, the same way she became attorney general, the same way she became vice president. She thinks that she's going to work her way all the way to become president. And for her to attack, Desai says, I gotta say that guy was the first to do it. Good job interviewing her. And she and her team had a complete meltdown. Jim says, let's hope Mrs. Eyes that is the case. Saj says, and Mrs. Eyes says, you're right. Desai, I want to say, I'm so glad somebody did an interview where it did not seem like they were trying to kiss her toes and kiss this Democratic Party toes, because we have to call Miss Harris out. We have to. And I'm personally tired of Miss Harris going around putting people's lives in jeopardy. Because when she said this, I'm gonna make sure I play this. I'm trying to actually find, Sage, for you the clip where she put God in this rally. I said, oh no. We're not finna do that today. We're not finna do this today, Miss Harris. I was trying to find it. Give me one moment, you guys. Okay, I found it. Now just look at this clip. And you guys just tell me this madness. Hello, you guys. This is Politic Graham. We're having a great conversation about calling Miss Kamala Harris out from her rally that she did in Atlanta, Georgia, yesterday, Saturday. Or should I say 2 days ago now? Sorry. But this is the clip that really just made me sick to my stomach. It really, really did. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Sorry.
Today, except for Virginia, every state in the South, including Georgia, has a Trump ban. That's immoral. And let us agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do.
Oh, my God.
Not the government. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what to do. So look, we all know this is a healthcare crisis. This is...
What in the world was that? Please tell me what was that, ladies and gentlemen. What was that? What in the world was that? Please tell me. Why did she put God in this and advise women who are having unprotected, you know what, and getting pregnant and not wanting to have babies and scared, advising them, well, you can talk to your rabbi. Well, you can talk to your pastor. You can talk to your family. But the government should stay out of this. Are you serious? Mrs. I says she's a heathen. That's why. And the sage says, wow. Exactly. Did you guys, I mean, this is what she spoke on. This is all what she talked about at the rally on Saturday. This is just a little bit of what she spoke on Saturday. She's complete. That's why I say she doesn't care. And she knows. That's why I say she knows what she's doing, ladies and gentlemen. She knows what she's doing. And see, for me, I could take it there. But see, I'm not finna talk about Mr. Willie Brown. I'm not finna talk about how she was 29 years old and she dated a married man in his 60s. Okay? I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna talk about how Mr. Willie Brown, who's 92 years old right now, still speaking on Kamala Harris. And he's still married to the same woman he was married to while seeing Miss Kamala Harris. And that's why Kamala Harris is in the vice president position now, because of Mr. Wood. But you know what? I'm going to let Mr. Willie Brown, I'm going to leave Mr. Willie Brown, what Willie Brown been doing for the past, I don't know, over 30 years. Okay? Saj says, that's the other clip I was talking about earlier. Sorry. I mean, it's fine, Saj, because when I tell you that clip left a bitter taste in my stomach. Mrs. I says, when I saw the crowd outside waiting to get in on YouTube, it looked mostly white. That clip inside scene, it did. Yes. We're gonna, I go back. Yes, you're absolutely right. We can look at the crowd. Jim says, hats off to Willie Brown. Willie at 90. Yes. Mrs. And yes, Mrs. Oz, I'm going to show that clip. Yes. And see, that's why I think she did not want to say where the rally was going to be. That is why I think she didn't want to say. And then also in that crowd, it was older people in that crowd, older than me. Okay, I'll say it that way. Mrs. I says, giving the illusion that she's getting Trump support. And that's why I don't understand. I want people to just wake up. I want people to understand that she is playing games. This is the same person. Allegedly, let me be careful. She was on Donald Trump's private jet when she was dating Willie Brown. Because this is everything Willie Brown has said. Donald Trump invited Willie Brown because Donald Trump was actually trying to buy real estate in San Francisco. And he wanted to get advice from Mr. Willie Brown. So as part of that, he paid for Willie Brown and his team, which was included Miss Kamala Harris. Now, this is back in the days when she was, 29 in her 20s, late 20s? But Kamala Harris wants to put out there, she's never met Donald Trump. She's never, quote, met Donald Trump. Daniel says, do you think we'll ever have a president that is young enough to understand us? Because I'm tired of the old geezers that are easy to manipulate. To answer your question in this particular time, I don't know. And the reason I say that is because I don't think people are ready for somebody that's young. The Sod says old people were young too, big guy. Well, I think, look at how people are looking at JD Vance. Daniel, let's use JD Vance as an example. Okay? JD Vance has not, I'm gonna be fair, I'm gonna be honest. JD Vance has not been in the political world as long And people might say he might be a somewhat, radical inexperience. And Daniel says young people take risks that are worth it. Mrs. I says good example. Yes, let's look at JD Vance. And see, I was supposed to do, and Jim, please don't be upset with me. I was supposed to do a live breaking down the debate between JD Vance and Tim Walz. I like JD Vance's stance because he knows how to switch it up. He can be Mr. Nice Guy or he can be Mr. Bad Guy. But when he did that debate, a lot of people said that it was his downfall when he couldn't answer the question that Tim Walz cornered him when he asked him about, does he feel that Donald Trump lost the election? Okay. I don't feel that was a loss for JD Vance because JD Vance saw what Tim Walz was trying to do. But JD Vance, he knows how to move. He's just young. But I would rather have somebody like JD Vance any day than Tim Walz. Any day. I'd rather have somebody like JD Vance any day than somebody like Kamala Harris any day. The Sarge says, no, I don't want a Gen Z president. Jim says, you saying Biden was manipulated? Mrs. I says he handled that great. Exactly. JD Vance handled it accordingly. Jim, to answer your question, I think I'm going to show you. I think everybody, I'm not trying to be a conspiracist. I don't want nobody to say I'm conspiracist, but I think everybody turned their back on Joe Biden. I think everybody turned their back on him. And with Joe Biden, that man is still, in my personal opinion, I think he's doing too much for Harris. Kamala Harris, she needs to stand on her own 2 feet and stop depending on these men like she depended on Willie Brown. So to answer your question, I think they turned their back on Biden. When it says manipulated, I don't want to use the word manipulated. I think they turned their back on him. They let him down. And I think there's more than I think they forced him to even nominate Kamala Harris to be vice president. I think he was forced to do that. Because if you guys can think back, during the time she was running for president, she tried to insinuate that Joe Biden was what? The R word. Racist. She tried to insinuate that. Okay? She didn't directly say it, but she tried to insinuate back in the past. During the segregation years, she tried to insinuate some things. And I don't like that. So I feel like Joe Biden was in a corner then, and he's in a corner now. I don't like that. And I think with Kamala Harris, when she uses a woman like this, Saj says, Vance really surprised me. I think he's great. I was confused why Trump picked him at first, but now it's obvious. Yes, Saj says, not a Biden fan, but at all. But wow, they doing him dirty. That is why Joe Biden's wife, that is why she was kind of feeling some type of way with this whole administration, even with Nancy Pelosi. That's why she feels some type of way about all of this. That's why. Because she sees how they are putting her husband in a compromising position. Even right now, Joe Biden is still going around doing rallies for Kamala Harris in addition to still being in his role of being a president. That's not right. That's not fair. That's not fair. Jim says, I'm sure he decided his own ice cream. And that's why I say, at this particular time, I'm kind of scared for what's to come personally. Mrs. I says, laugh out loud, Jim, no doubt. Daniel says, Trump chose J.D. Vance because after his next term in 2028, he will run it. I think you're absolutely right. I agree with that, Daniel. And Trump oh, no, not Trump vice president. You know what? I don't think, Daniel, were you in here? Were you in here when Kamala Harris, she called herself, said a threat? I took it as a threat. And if I was Donald Trump and if I was the Trump family, I would try to send out a cease and desist letter on Miss Kamala Harris with the statement she put out there on Saturday in Atlanta at the Atlanta rally, because that was just disgusting and disrespectful, trying to insinuate that they are planning on taking care of Donald Trump in November. Like they're going to lock him up. Like they already have it planned that when November the 5th comes, that she already has it, in her words, in her pocket. They already have it planned, like insinuating Donald Trump is going to be taken care of November the 5th. Like she's going to win. She's going to become president, and Donald Trump is going to get locked up. She insinuated that Saturday, and I forget who said in the comments when it came down to that they feel that these people were busting. I actually believe the people at this rally, and at a lot of these rallies, they're being busted. I really believe that. I really, really do. And I'm going to actually re-show it, because Daniel, I don't think you were in this live when Kamala Harris, she called herself, insinuated this. Finna play. I'm trying to see it. Give me one moment, you guys.
Some only being treated once they develop sepsis.
Hello, I'm trying to find it, you guys. Like, she really, it just kind of like, I couldn't believe it.
I will give a middle class tax.
Hold on.
I will take on corporate price.
In one moment.
And we care about things like dignity. We understand that the real... Well, I hear you, but the thing is, you know what? The court's going to take care of that. We're going to take care of November.
Now, you hear that? Did you hear that, Daniel?
We're going to take care of November. We're going to take care of November.
What you going to take care of, Kamala? What are you going to take care of, Kamala Harris? I'm going to replay that clip. I'm going to replay that. I want to know, guys, put in the comments, what do you think Kamala Harris was saying when somebody in the rally here in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, Saturday, was yelling out, lock him up, lock him up? Who was Kamala Harris saying? Well, wait, I'm going to replay it one more time. I'm going to replay that one more time.
And we care about things like dignity. We understand that the real... Well, I hear you, but the thing is, you know what? The court's going to take care of that. We're going to take care of November.
What?
We're going to take care of November.
Come on. Come on. What? What is she taking? What? See? That's why it goes back to what I said. She knows what she's doing, ladies and gentlemen. Kamala Harris knows what she's doing. And I pray, since she wants to put God in this, I pray, after I saw that rally, I pray that she does not become president. If she continues to be a danger to her words are dangerous. Her words are dangerous. And it's really, really sad that people cannot see what is going on. And I'm going to say, as far as Amber Thurman's family, yes, they are, I really believe, correct. I really believe they are being paid by Kamala Harris. I really believe that. Because at this particular time, her family has visited Oprah Winfrey. They did a special. I'm gonna show a clip when Oprah Winfrey invited them. Oprah Winfrey invited them to her special that she had a live stream special a month ago. Let me go ahead and play this clip. Hold on. Trying to see if it'll play it. Hold on. Let me see if it'll play it. It probably didn't play it. Well, see, this right here, this is the clip. I don't think it's going to play the actual sound, but as you can see, this is where her mother spoke about Amber Thurman. And look at Kamala, seeming so concerned, like she really cares. Like she really, really cares. And we know she doesn't really care. She doesn't really care. Because if she cared, she would have, just like Donald Trump said it best, why hasn't she done the things that she said she was going to do? Why hasn't she done it since she's been in office? Why hasn't she done the things? It's been 3.5 years. Why? Why hasn't she done these things? And even when it comes down to Biden, Joe Biden. But then now Kamala Harris, she's using people like Amber Thurman. This is Amber Thurman, who passed away here in Georgia due to, I will say, the negligence of a hospital. However, it was because with Amber Thurman, I'm gonna play some of it. With Amber Thurman, I'm going to repeat this for people who are coming in and just who are coming in. With Amber Thurman, I'm going to make sure I read it. And this happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she found out that she was 7 weeks pregnant. She decided to delete the pregnancy in Georgia because she, at the age of 28, she didn't want to have another child because she had already had a 6-year-old son and had, quote unquote, applied for nursing school and had just moved into an apartment. That's the excuse. That's the excuse. When she went to visit a doctor to have her baby deleted, and I want people to also understand, here in Georgia, our Governor Brian Kemp, he signed the act. He signed the act that if once you pass 6 weeks, you cannot do anything. That's it. He signed an act to ban deleting a baby. Now, with Miss Thurman, she was 7 weeks pregnant. So when she went to the doctor the first time here in Georgia, the doctor turned her away. The doctor told her because of Georgia's restriction, she needed to go to another state. She goes to another state, North Carolina, with her friend. They drive. She get the medication, come back to Georgia, take the medication, ends up having complications from taking this medication to delete her baby. And then when she tries to go to the hospital here in Georgia, she goes through the same mess again. And then this time, because the doctors, the hospitals they're not well informed due to the act that has been signed here in Georgia, a lot of places are scared to deal with things such as that when it comes down to deleting a child, because I don't think people understand, here in Georgia, they are very strict. They are very, very strict. And because of Amber Thurman, she ended up having to wait 19 hours to get help due to the complications of taking this medication that she bought from North Carolina. And because of her waiting 19 hours and getting septic shock by this hospital, not dealing with it right away, she ended up passing away. Now, how does Kamala Harris fit into all of this? How does Oprah Winfrey fit into all of this? Because they are actually using Amber Thurman and using her family. I really believe that. I don't think they're doing it to be fair. I don't think they're doing it to be just. I don't think they're doing it to quote unquote help. Because Governor Brian Kemp here in Georgia, and people do not realize this. He said it best. And people do not understand that they're looking like women don't have rights. But what about, I want to make sure I read what Brian Kemp said. He said the will of Georgians and the representatives have been overruled by personal beliefs of one judge. Georgia will continue to be a place we fight for the lives of the unborn. Now, why did he say that? Because Amber Thurman, she made headlines, and because of the actions, there was a judge here that tried to actually, he did lift it. He lifted the ban. But an attorney general came in and reinstated the ban. See, this is all going on. All this is going on. And Kamala Harris, she's taking advantage of it by actually trying to get people votes. And she is taking advantage of Amber Thurman and Amber Thurman's family to actually get the votes. She doesn't care about anything else. She doesn't. And see, with JD Vance, and even Trump, they're pro-life. And I just want to understand what happened. What happened with being wrong for being about pro-life? What happened to that? Now, I'm going to show a clip because I want to be fair. I'm going to show a clip of explaining Amber Thurman. This is what by her friend who went with Amber Thurman to North Carolina. This is just kind of giving you a breakdown of what happened, like just to give you a visual of Amber Thurman.
She'd need to go to another state. The two friends drove to North Carolina to obtain medication to end Amber's pregnancy. Well, days later, a complication landed Amber in a Metro Atlanta hospital where she became septic. Nonprofit newsroom ProPublica obtained medical records that reportedly revealed doctors did not immediately do a DNC procedure to remove the infected fetal tissue.
Now, my whole thing is, what about pro-life? What about that? What happened to that? What happened to, a baby having a voice? What happened to that? But see, Kamala Harris, at her rally on Saturday, she took advantage of this whole situation for herself. And I'm trying to actually, to the point, and it's really disgusting to the point where she is using somebody who needs to be at rest. Amber Thurman is not the only person. And she's not the only person to be in a position to feel like she's trapped. She will not be the last person. But I feel that if she's going to, if Kamala Harris is going to actually reach out to these people, to Amber Thurman's family, she needs to have that same energy for other victims dealing with this border. She needs to have that same energy. She does. Because when she did the interview with Fox News, she couldn't answer certain questions. She couldn't answer certain questions when it came down to the border crisis, when it came down to immigration. She couldn't answer certain questions. But it's so odd. She can go to a rally in Atlanta, Georgia, and then speak all about what Donald Trump, quote unquote, in her words, is his fault. It's his fault that the Roe versus Wade was reversed. It's his fault. It's his fault that Amber Thurman passed away. It's his fault. And I say that because she's now running this commercial. And I repeat, she's running this commercial. I'm trying to show it. She's running this commercial that is actually showing Amber Thurman's gravesite. That's actually showing Amber Thurman's mother and sister saying that they're not voting for Trump. I'm finna just play this part. This is a part from the commercial of Kamala Harris. This is her recent commercial about Roe versus Wade, about Donald Trump. This is her recent commercial for Georgia people to vote.
Order is gone because of what Donald Trump did.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
It's nothing good enough to bring her back. Her life is over. I've never been a political person. Never. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she showed me she really cared. I felt her sincerity, and I felt her strength. We will speak her name, Amber Nicole Thurman. I felt her compassion. We will
Now, hold on. I just want to make sure.
Following this, Donald Trump still refuses to take accountability, to take any accountability for the pain and the suffering he has caused, or even to just acknowledge the pain and suffering that has actually happened. We talk.
Are you serious? Just think about that. Think about what she said. I want to just talk about that word. She says accountability. Accountability. I want to say this. I want to say this quote. And I want people to remember this quote and think about it. Sometimes when you get what you want, more things become anticipated. I'm going to say it one more time. Sometimes when you get what you want, more things become anticipated. I say that to say Amber Thurman. Amber Thurman was 28 years old. Beautiful woman. Has a beautiful son who was then 6 years old, 2 years ago. She got pregnant. By the time she found out, she was 7 weeks pregnant. And according to the Georgia law, let me make sure I read it. It's called the Life Act, that stands for Living Infants Fairness and Equality, which prohibits deleting any cardiac activity detected in an embryo. Okay? This was a ban that was signed by Governor Kemp. Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia, which is usually 6 weeks. Okay, the embryo. So basically with Amber Thurman, like I said, she was 7 weeks. 7 weeks pregnant. Nobody here in Georgia wanted to touch her. They didn't want to touch her because they didn't want to lose their, their license. They didn't want to lose their job. They didn't want to lose. So Amber, what did she do? She wanted to get rid of the baby because she felt, because she had applied for nursing school, she had moved into a new apartment. She traveled. She was a medical assistant. She already had a 6-year-old child. She made the decision to go to North Carolina with the anticipation to delete a baby. She got the medication. She drove back. After she took the medication, she had complications. But because of this rule here in Georgia, she went to the hospital and they acted like they were scared to deal with her. And because of that, they waited 13 to 19 hours before even touching her. So at this particular point, by the time they decide, okay, we can deal with her because it's an emergency, it was too late. And remember what I said in the quote that I just said. Sometimes when you get what you want more things become anticipated. And that's a lot of things, because I could say that with this whole ban that's going on. It seems as if with Kamala Harris, she wants people to actually believe what she's stating. She actually wants people to believe all of these plans, that she cares. But the real thing she wants, she's anticipating to become president. She's anticipating this. And it's sad because a person like her, she uses anything and anyone to get what she wants. And I think with Amber Thurman, I think everybody needs to use this as an example. For one, please vote, because all of this could have been avoided. Because remember what I said, here in Georgia, Governor Kemp signed a bill, an act. He signed the act known as Living Infant Fairness and Equality. Somebody had to vote him in to become governor, right? So I'm wondering, where were all these people when he became governor? Where were all these people when Donald Trump became president? See, you have to look. There's a word called accountability. You have to hold yourself accountable. That's why I tell people, do not feel like your vote doesn't count. Because whatever you do now or don't do, it's going to affect not only you, but people in the future. In Amber Thurman's case, her life ended up getting lost because of people not voting. So I want people to actually take this into strong consideration. Please vote. Please do your research. Please do not go off of what Kamala Harris, and I want to make sure I show this, because she brought Usher to the rally. I don't know why she brought Usher to the rally, but she brought Usher to the rally to get people to vote. I guess why? Because he knows how to dance and sing and move and entertain you. But at the end of the day, I need people to understand Kamala Harris is the reason this U.S. is in the position that it's in right now. When it comes down to groceries being high in inflation, when it comes down to people having to make a decision about paying for their health care, for their medication. And with Kamala, her response is, well, we did put a cap on that insulin, a $35 cap. But what about the other issues in healthcare? What about the other issues when it comes down to groceries, when it comes down to housing? Her response, well, if you're a first-time homeowner, I'll offer you $25,000. $25,000. She mentions that number. Well, if you're a first-time parent, for all first-time parents, that first year on your child, you get a $6,000 tax credit. These are things I want people to understand. Do not fall for the fluff. Do not fall for someone like Kamala Harris that cannot even speak about, and I'm going to make sure I show this, cannot even speak about a young lady named Jocelyn, this beautiful 12-year-old who passed away in Texas due to the actions of two illegal immigrants and left in a creek. What was Kamala Harris' response? When the interviewer, I want to make sure I show it, when the interviewer of Fox, when she did that interview by Brett, what was her response to Jocelyn's mother and the families? This was her response. I want people to actually understand the type of person we are dealing with. I want to make sure I show it, the type of person that we are dealing with.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all fairness?
Now, I'm going to play it one more time.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in all fairness?
Now, see, this is the person that we are dealing with for November the 5th. As far as people said we need to vote for. Ask yourself this question. Does Kamala Harris really speak for the people? And when I say the people, I'm not just talking about here in America, because you also got to understand that other people's lives are being affected worldwide. I want people to think about that. How other people's lives are being affected? Because the Biden administration has been sending billions and billions of dollars to other wars, to other countries, to assist in wars. And they have not made things better for the other countries, and they have not made things better for here in America. So you ask yourself that question. Is Kamala Harris the one for the people? And I'm going to end it on that note. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Daniel, Jim, Desaj. I want people to actually think about that. Who else is in here? Who was in here? Mrs. Eyes. I appreciate you guys for coming in. John, Hassan, thank you so much for coming in. Sarah, Sonny, thank you so much for coming in, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I want you guys to always know you have a voice. You have a voice, and you have to know that you have to use your voice. And using your voice doesn't mean going for at a rally like Usher did on Saturday to do a 5-minute speech at a rally for somebody like Kamala Harris to tell somebody to vote. Having a voice is taking it by foot, walking it, going to go vote yourself. And I'm going to end it on that note. Thank you so much, you guys. And I might come back later on. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys for coming into this live and making this live a great live and a productive live. Thank you.